Coming up on this edition of Carolina Insider. How a local organization's new project is working to highlight a community's history in a unique way, and find out what Scout Motors has in plan to make up for the thousands of lost wetlands at their new electric vehicle site. But first, a look into President Biden's $1.2 billion student loan forgiveness plan.
The fact that it's a $12,000 limit on it kind of doesn't help me.
Carolina Insider starts now.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Bridget Bruchalski. Our top story today, the Biden-Harris administration has canceled another $1.2 billion in student loan debt. College students from Columbia to the West Coast may qualify for loan reductions. Although it doesn't affect any current students, it's great news for others. According to the Department of Education, to qualify, borrowers must have made at least 10 years of payments and borrowed $12,000 or less for college. We stopped by Russell House to find out what current students think about it.
I think it's a great idea. Higher education needs to be more accessible.
Yes, I think it's a good thing, but the fact that it's a $12,000 limit on it kind of doesn't help me.
But it does help those enrolled in Biden's SAVE plan, which calculates loan bills based on your income and family size. More than 150,000 borrowers will benefit. Want to have your opinions heard about flying in and out of Columbia's airport? CAE is developing its new master plan, and they could use your input. According to airport officials, more than 1 million passengers came through last year, marking a 16% increase from the year before. To meet growing demand, airport officials are gathering insights on everything from food and retail options to TSA checkpoints. You can find the survey on the airport's website now through June 30th. The electric vehicle company Scout Motors has planned to make up for thousands of acres of wetlands lost as a result of the development here at their new plant in Blythewood. The plan calls for a new 5,000-acre nature preserve near the Congaree National Park. The company would restore land that was damaged by agriculture and forestry and open it up to the public. Once a state preserve, the South Carolina Forestry Commission will oversee it. Another project that would improve the environment in North Columbia also gets our attention today. Here with that story in today's Soda City scene is our own Grace Berkery, who joins us from Drew Park. Grace?
That's right, Bridget. I'm here at Drew Park, where community members are gathering to celebrate a new initiative that's both environmental and historical. Drew Park is one of many Columbia areas receiving a long overdue makeover. Columbia resident Sabrina Odom Edwards says she routinely visits and noticed the lack of shade was making it unbearable to enjoy.
A grandmother like me who comes and bring the grandkids, who wants to stay forever in the park, we have a bench, but there's no trees around.
This is why the Columbia Canopy Project is planting 20 trees here to provide much-needed shade for visitors. And, in a unique twist, signage is being unveiled to honor the history of heroes who lived right next door in Edgewood, Jones-McDonald, and Barnhamville states. Historic Columbia's Kat Allen says the project came to fruition when they started researching redlining in towns where they wanted to plant the trees. Redlining is defined as withholding home loans or insurance in neighborhoods considered poor financial risk.
Many of them have never had published research in their entire history. So they have a lot of community leaders that have been passing down history via oral tradition.
175 trees have now been planted in not just 3, but over a dozen neighborhoods, sidewalks, and parks.
The signs unveiled behind me are the first of many that have QR codes so you can read about the communities and the people who made a difference.
For Sabrina, who became the community liaison for the project, the stories that stuck with her the most were the ones about small businesses.
The small businesses work with the neighborhood people to make sure that everyone was fed, and how some of these unsung heroes fed a lot of kids and people in need.
As the trees grow to be between 50 and 70 feet tall, Sabrina hopes that the history of these communities can show what ordinary, everyday people can do. Back to you, Bridget.
Thanks, Grace. Finally, if you're looking for a few fun things to do in Soda City, we've got you covered in today's Carolina calendar. Tonight, you can head on over to Richland Library, Maine for their Black History Jubilee celebration at 6. The program will feature African dance, open poetry, food, and more. The Gamecock women's basketball team will face off with the Tennessee Lady Volunteers Sunday at noon. And rounding out your weekend, if you're into Broadway, you can still grab tickets to see Hamilton at the Coker Center now until March 10th. That's it for this edition of Carolina Insider, a student production here in the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here after spring break.